So question 6, mirror. The diagram shows a sphere and a solid cylinder. So sphere, solid cylinder. We can see the sphere, we can see the solid cylinder. We don't know what we're going to work out. It might be surface area, it might be volume. Usually for the sphere, you're given information for the sphere. I'm going to write this down. This question should have written it down. Sphere volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, and sphere surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared. For cylinder, you're not given anything, so this would be given to you. Only spheres and cones are given. Cylinder you have to memorize, okay, but we'll come back to that in a moment. The sphere has a radius of 6 centimeters. The solid cylinder has a base radius of 3 centimeters and a height of h. We can see this on the diagram, both of these lines, so I'm going to tick them off because my diagrams are more useful. As I've shown earlier, I always use diagrams. Then it goes on to say the total surface area. At this point, I'm going to stop and I'm going to work out the total surface area of the cylinder, and then I'm going to work out the total surface area of the sphere. I know it's saying here that the total surface area of the cylinder is twice that of the sphere, but I'm going to work out cylinder and surface area first of all using my formulas that I know, and then I'm going to use the part that says twice to set up an equation. We'll see how. So this is the skill that we're looking at here, setting up equations. So what's the total surface area of the cylinder? Well, this is where you need to recall the cylinder. So I'll write down here cylinder surface area. How do we work that out? Well, if we did split that up, it would look like a circle with a rectangle. Yeah. So there's my circle on the top. There's the rectangle when you open up that, and then the circle. So what's the area of each of them? Well, the top circle is pi r squared. The bottom one is another pi r squared. And what's this area of this rectangle? It's, well, this length of this rectangle here is what wraps around the circle. So this is the circumference of that circle. So that length there is pi d is that length, circumference. And this we're already given is h. So what's this area? It's pi dh is this area. So what's the total surface area of this cylinder? Surface area of cylinder is pi r squared plus pi r squared, which is 2 pi r squared, plus pi dh. None of this is given to you. You are expected to know this. So make sure you learn this or memorize it. And so then let's use the information that we're given. We're given the radius for the cylinder, so 2 pi times, use brackets, plus pi. Diameter is twice the radius, so pi 6h. So this gives me 9 times 2, which is 18 pi plus 6 pi h. Now notice here, 18 pi and 6 pi h, one of them has h in it, so they're different terms. That means you cannot add them together and write down 24 pi h, which is a common mistake made by students. So you'd have to leave it as it is. Okay. We'll then go and focus on the sphere. So sphere surface area. Well, that's straightforward. There's a formula there. So its surface area is equal to 4 times pi r squared, which is 4 pi. Radius is 6 for the sphere. 4 pi squared. So we've got here a 180 pi. Okay, so we've got the surface area of both my cylinder and my sphere. Now I'm going to use this bit of information here. It tells us that the total surface area of the cylinder is twice that of the sphere. What that basically means is the surface area of the cylinder is bigger, because it says the total surface area of the cylinder is twice that of the sphere. So we understand that the cylinder, so I'll write down here cylinder surface area bigger, and I'll write down here sphere. So if the cylinder surface area is bigger, how will I make them both equal? Because when you're creating an equation, so this is creating an equal sign means both sides, the left-hand side and right-hand side of the equal is the same. Both sides same. So how can I make them the same? Knowing that the surface area of the cylinder is bigger. And it's bigger by how much? It's twice as big. So to make them the same, you would actually have to double the sphere, you'd have to times the sphere by 2. So you'd say sphere times 2 will then equal to the cylinder surface area. A common mistake is that students usually write down cylinder times 2, but it can't be because the cylinder is already 2 times bigger. So to make them the same, i.e. equal, then you need to make the other one. You need to double the other one. Okay, so then how do I work with that? Well, do I know what my cylinder surface area is? Yep, there it is. So I'd write down 18 pi plus 6 pi h is equal to, do I know what my sphere is? Yep, it's that. But remember, I'm going to times that by 2, so it's 180 pi times 2. Okay, so carrying on from there, let's go and take a look at the next part here. So we can tidy this up a bit. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I made a little mistake earlier here. That should have been 180. 36 times 4, that was 144. Just check that here. 144 pi, that was. So it's not 180 pi times 2, it's 144 pi times 2. So that gives me 288 pi, and I've got 18 pi plus 6 pi h. What am I going to do with this? Well, I've got an equation involving pi's and h. Pi is just a number, so I want to figure out what h is. Minus 18 pi from both sides, so I'm going to get 270 pi is equal to 6 pi h. And to make h the subject, divide both sides by 6 pi. So that gives me h is equal to 45. Okay. Oops. 6 pi cancel. Pi and pi cancel, so left with 45. And the units, remember, we were using were centimeters. So we know the height. That's all from this third sentence, which I can just tick off now. Work out the ratio of the volume. So it's mentioned the word volume here, of the sphere to the volume of the cylinder. This basically means I need to now go and work out the volume. So I'm going to just go and do my working out here on the side. I'm going to work out the volume of my cylinder and volume of my sphere. I'll use it and do it in the same order they said. Work out the ratio of the volume of the sphere. They mentioned sphere first, so I'm going to do volume of sphere, which is equal to 4 over 3 pi times r, which was 6 cubed. Okay, so if we do that, you can use your calculator for this. 6 cubed times 4 over 3, and so that gives me 288 pi. And then I'm going to work out the volume of my cylinder. The volume of the cylinder is pi r squared times the height. I've worked out my radius is 3, and the height we've just worked out is 45 from earlier. So that gives me 405 pi. I need to write them as a ratio because it says work out the ratio of the volume of the sphere. So sphere first, 288 pi, dot, dot, 405 pi. Now when you've got a ratio, we need to write it in its simplest form, and it says that in the question as well, the next bit. Give your answer in simplest form. So we need to figure out what we can divide both of them by. Okay, so 288, we'll just try different numbers. I think they both divide by 3. Yep, they do both divide by 3. So 288 divided by 3 is 96 pi. Actually, they both divide by pi to begin with, so I'll cross off the pi. So I've got 96 dot dot, and 405 divided by 3 is 135. And I think they both divide by 3 again. Yep, they do. Dividing by 3 gets me 45 on this side. 96 divided by 3 gets me 32 on this side. And they don't simplify any further, so this is my simplest form, the ratio. Okay, so that particular question was involving setting up an equation, was the skill that we applied here. Okay, so you've had a few minutes to have a go at this one. It should be a lot easier than the question 6 mirror that we looked at, but using the same skill. So you've got the cylinder has a base radius of 2x and a height of 9x. the cylinder is melted down. Now melted down is referring to the volume, because you melt the quantity and it makes a liquid or a volume. So here at this point I'm going to stop and work out the volume of the cylinder. Volume is pi r squared times height. Use brackets for substitution, so radius of x. If you don't use brackets you will make mistakes here, because without brackets it looks like it's 2x squared, but when you have the bracket it's 2x all squared, which actually, as you'll see in a moment, it becomes pi times 4x squared times 9x. So if you didn't use the bracket, you would only have 2x squared. So some of you may have made that mistake, a common mistake. So always use brackets for substitution, another skill to remember. Tidy this up a bit. Just some algebraic indices. 4 times 9, 36. Then we've got pi as well, and then x squared times x is x cubed. 36 pi x cubed is the volume of this cylinder. It's then made into a sphere of radius r. So we're saying, let's write down the sphere volume. We know sphere volume is equal to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So if the cylinder is melted down to make the sphere, then surely the volumes must be the same, because it's the same thing melted down. So then what we would say is 36 pi x cubed is equal to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. The question is asking us to find an expression for r in terms of x. That means make r the subject. Okay, find r, make r the subject. So we want to essentially rearrange here. There's a divide by 3, so I'm going to start by timesing by 3. So I'm going to times by 3, times by 3. Remember, 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So this simplifies to give you 4 pi r cubed on the right hand side, and on the left hand side we've got 3 times 36, which is 108 pi x cubed, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 4 pi. So 108 divided by 4 pi is 27x cubed is equal to r cubed, and then I'm going to cube root both sides to find out r. Cube root of 27 is 3, and cube root of x cubed is x. So the answer is r is equal to 3x, which is what we wanted to do.